All right, guys. So let's get into our stories for today. First of all, Marvel announces their Doomsday cast, Avengers Doomsday cast, I should say. And this is kind of interesting because the way they went about doing it, they did literally like a 5-hour live stream. Odin, you want to bring up your version of what they were showing us?
Ah, yes, of course. So basically, 5 hours where it's like every however many minutes they would reveal a brand new image, and that image looked a little bit like this.
Yeah, so it was basically a chair stream, and they
Yep.
would have like these movie chairs that you see on sets all the time, and
Brilliant.
they would have the name of the cast for Avengers Doomsday, and about every 5 minutes or so, the camera would move to show like a new chair and a new
And their
cast
music.
and stuff
It was
that.
like their special music.
Now they should have done something like this because then it would have been creepy.
Odin looks like he just went through the snap.
Yeah. But guys, it took them 5 hours to reveal the entire cast of Avengers Doomsday. And this is what we got. Surprisingly, very little Avengers. We've got quite a bit of X-Men, Fantastic Four, the Thunderbolts. And the actual number of real Avengers is quite small in this casting announcement. But they started off with Chris Hemsworth as Thor and went down the line and ended with, I believe it was Gambit, who's being played by Channing Tatum. Again, not from Fox necessarily, more from the Wolverine versus Deadpool movie. But it was kind of fun to see that. But once you got into like the X-Men cast, you're like, oh, these are all the Bryan Singer X-Men. Okay, yay.
Yeah, aren't they like 97 years old? Patrick Stewart's ancient now, man. I don't even know how he's going to do this.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart's also died as Professor X at least 3 times in the MCU proper.
I mean, if he even makes it to his time when he shoots his role parts in the movie, I'll be shocked.
But
So.
Dutch Butters, what's your
Why does
reaction?
everybody get that wrong? It's been 5 times he's died now. 5 times.
Okay. All right, 5 times.
Okay, out to lunch.
That's a lunch.
Yeah. Dutch Butters, what's your take on the reveal of who's going to be in the new Avengers?
I watched it for about 10 minutes and I go, oh, this is cool. And then I went and I played some more games. I have so little interest in any of this stuff that's going on with this movie. I guess it was an interesting way to announce who they were going to have in the film, but I think it was just kind of a big miss, to be perfectly honest with you. It was just, it's just a gimmick. It's just a gimmick. I don't quite get the mixing of the old Fox stuff with the MCU thing. I mean, I guess they can do that if they want, but it's not what I thought they were going to do. I thought we were going to get all brand new characters and people playing these characters. So seeing how they
have though, I'd rather have member
I don't know. No, I wouldn't.
18-year-old.
I would rather them
chick from Compton in a Iron Man suit.
I think they
why? Because
Wolverine
and Deadpool.
Oh yeah,
that's why.
Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think this Doomsday thing is just one big giant, probably going to be semi-unsuccessful cash grab. I mean, they're even bringing Robert Downey Jr. back as Dr. Doom as a freaking Tony Stark variant or some bullshit. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I don't know, man. It's like, I guess I'm just I'm tights and caped out. I have very little interest in this. I guess it's going to be fun to watch, see how much they screw this up, but it feels like it's in a real weird, strange place. I mean, that's about all I can say on it right now. We got a bunch of casting announcements and a really funny, weird little gimmick that they did. So it's
so weird.
Well,
weird.
Adam,
weird.
I want to ask you, what do you think about the fact that there's only one original Avenger in this casting announcement, Chris Hemsworth's Thor? Everyone else is either from upcoming movies like Thunderbolts or previous movies like Black Panther, Shang-Chi, movies that Disney didn't actually even make, like the X-Men movies. So, like, what's your take on this?
It's someone has some kind of logic in that freaking executive office where they're saying, hey, everything we're doing right now, nobody likes it. So let's they don't like the new stuff. In other words, they don't like the race swapping or the making everyone, all the characters are now women or anything like that. So let's try to go back to old stuff. Except they're, like you said, they're ignoring the actual good stuff that we enjoyed, and they're trying to thrust in all this crap that, I don't know, maybe they're hoping this movie's going to do well, and then therefore people are going to go back and watch Shang-Chi or something like that because nobody watched it when it first came out. It is another example of these people are trying to fix a problem, but they don't know how to fucking fix it.
Are we gonna get a part 2 of this little gimmick with the chairs, and it'll have like Patrick Warburton as the Tick, and maybe we can get the Watchmen to come in and hang out with these guys, and maybe the guys from what's that show on Amazon where they're all evil? That would be kind of cool. The boys, get the boys in there. Yeah, just everything. Every person that wears a cape or tights, just bring them in. Then let's just have a big superhero orgy. Let's go. Let's do it.
Well, and another thing, the fact that they're bringing all the X-Men in is because that's another thing. Like we people have been screaming they want the X-Men to be in the MCU. And so their solution to that is let's bring in all the OG X-Men, which somebody said, like, yeah, they're all like all the actors are old now, but not only that, now they've made it canon that they all started in the fucking 50s. So these people are like almost like quite literally 100 years old. The characters are at least. We've been clamoring for the X-Men, but we've wanted something original. Like you said, I was perfectly fine if they wanted to recast Wolverine and everyone else, but no, they want to bring in all the OGs. It could be good, but yeah, I'm very skeptical.
Well, Tom, I want to ask you, the big reveal at the end of this chair stream that they did was that they start revealing the OG X-Men coming back, which means that the Fox X-Men are now going to be folded into Avengers Doomsday, their big tentpole for the year. What's your take on that?
I was confused. At first, I thought maybe, just maybe, we were getting the Cheers spinoff universe with Frasier.
Awesome.
I thought that's what everybody really wanted. I mean, no, I think honestly, you said it best. I mean, we've got 0 X-Men practically in our 0 Avengers in our X-Men movie, basically, because that's really what it is. It's going to be nothing but trying to cash grab in on the success of Deadpool and Wolverine, which is not going to happen. It's not going to work. They're spinning this like it was some big huge event online when I think they didn't realize that they were basically being memed.
Everyone I know was upset about it.
Not so much upset, but I mean they were making fun of it. Like Odin already showed his off, right? Like everybody was making their own chair with their own name.
Well, a lot of the creators that sat there for 5 hours were just like, "This is what we waited for." What?
Yeah, I know. So like the whole thing is kind of a joke at the end of the day, but I think Disney is trying to spin it as some successful thing. Because let's face it, this whole thing is at a crossroads now. If Superman and Fantastic Four do not perform this year, I would not put money on Avengers Doomsday making $1 billion.
Nope.
And there's nobody in it to really bring you into it. Robert Downey Jr. is not even playing Iron Man. From what we're hearing, he not only is he going to be Doom, he's basically Doom who manipulated himself, whether it's through magic or fucking plastic surgery, to look like Tony Stark to infiltrate the Avengers. That's the story, kids.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But they think that's the hook. That's what's going to bring everybody in. That's why he was at the end of the trailer. Like, everybody's going to come back for Robert Downey Jr.
Sort of cool though. Like I hate to be that guy, but it is sort of cool.
No, it's not cool. I thought he was
like a Doctor. I mean, if you read the comics, that sounds like something that Doctor Doom would do for sure.
I thought he was just going to be an evil Tony Stark variant that went the Doctor Doom route from Earth 4752 in the other universe or whatever. So I don't know, whatever. Silly.
At least that's what we were hearing.
Well, Brian,
hey.
So one of the interesting things about
just before you go to Brian, I just want to say I think it's funny that they gave the Russo brothers bubblegum cards with all the actors they could use and their salaries on the back, and they basically had a budget they had to go by. So we're getting the budget Avengers is what we're getting. Sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I mean, that kind of leads into my question to Brian, which is basically, so we've got a lot of Marvel characters that no one really seems to like. You got the Captain Falcon characters, you got the Thunderbolts, which are, the movie hasn't even come out yet. You've got the bad Black Panther characters. You've got, Shang-Chi. All these characters that the audience hasn't really latched onto yet are going to be featured in this Avengers movie that has literally one original Avenger in it. So why do you think Disney continues to want to try to push these characters on us as opposed to take the stuff that people actually care about? No Doctor Strange, no Spider-Man, no, other characters that like Daredevil or anything like that people actually have an attachment to. They're all missing from this casting announcement. So what's your take on that?
Well, so I think that they have to bring in new blood. From a business perspective, you can't just, and a story perspective, you really can't just keep the same exact, 8 people going. The amount of money that they want every single time is going to go up, up and up and up and up. And, you're limited on how many stories, if the character is never at risk. Also, I think Daredevil is a street level superhero and doesn't really
even Star-Lord or any of the Guardians of the Galaxy. What I'm saying is that the characters that people actually like aren't in this movie.
Well, we don't know. I mean, that's true, but we don't know if that's all the people in the movie. So first off, a lot of the people, and I'm not stemming for this guy, I think it's going to bomb, but it's entirely possible a lot of that cast list are throwaway cameos and small parts. And I fully doubt that they are revealing the bigger names, the bigger surprises. First off, Doctor Strange was not listed. Cumberbatch wasn't listed. And he is definitely in the movie. He's in the movie. He tried to backpedal, but he's in the movie. They did
say there's going to be more announcements, but yeah.
Right. So, there are characters and actors that are in the movie that they did not release in that ridiculous live stream. That's number one. So number two is they shouldn't tell us everyone that's in it. They really shouldn't.
True.
They should keep things a secret. There should be surprises. We don't need to know everyone that's in the movie. We should be able to watch the movie and enjoy it and be surprised when that sling portal opens and here comes Doctor Strange saving the day or whatever. Okay. Also, I think it makes sense that Spider-Man's not in the movie. But we don't know if he's not in the movie. Again, we don't know. It's entirely possible it's a surprise. But it would completely make sense he's not in the movie, considering no one remembers him. Canonically, no one remembers that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. They don't even know who Spider-Man is.
Is Morpheus in the movie?
Morbius, you mean?
Morbius, yeah, Morpheus.
Yeah. Morpheus is from the Matrix.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Morbius is Morbius in the movie.
First off, I don't think Morpheus is in the movie. I didn't see Lawrence Fishburne on there.
Yeah.
Morbius is definitely not in the movie.
What about Venom? Is Venom in the movie?
Venom's not in the movie. Venom died, bro. Did you not watch Venom 3?
No, I didn't watch Venom 3.
Sorry, spoiler alert.
Thank you for spoiling that one for me, bro.
Oh, this
movie. It hasn't even been out for 6 months.
I mean,
I think there's way too much hate on Morbius, by the way. I watched it long after when everyone was ripping on it. I didn't think it was that bad.
Adam,
I didn't either.
I've been saying it forever. There's a reason why Morbius rhymes with glorious.
Oh, goodness. Look, regardless, we don't know who is all in this movie. For sure, we don't. And I think a lot of the people that are saying, where are all the Avengers?
I'm sure Willow, Pikachu, and Harry Potter are in it too.
We don't know what Avengers are in the movie or not. All we know is that they gave us a bunch of names of people that are in the movie, and we don't know how long they're in the movie or what. First off, I doubt any of the, what is it called, Thunder Force?
Thunderbolts.
I doubt any. I'm so disinterested in that movie. I don't even remember the name. I doubt Thunderbolts asterisks, those characters, play more than just a flashback, random scene. They're barely in the film. I doubt they're a large part of
I'll bet
Avengers
you $20
Doomsday.
you're wrong.
Okay.
I'll bet you $20 you're wrong.
On stream. Everyone remember this.
The
$20.
main characters, Brian.
I bet you they're in the movie for less than 6 minutes. Handshake.
All right. Well, I want to...
And I bet you Doctor Strange is in the movie. And I bet you we get a weird Spider-Man cameo, but it's probably Tobey Maguire or something.
No, man, it's going to be Nick. It's going to be Nick Cage Spider-Man.
If any one of those things is wrong,
I think
then
Ghost
you owe
Rider
him
might
$20.
actually be in the
I'm trying to
movie.
figure out the bet here. Okay.
So
here-
the bet,
here's
the
the
bet
bet.
is that the Thunderbolts play a bigger role than what Brian is saying.
Okay.
And I'm saying they play a very small role. That's the bet.
Okay.
I'll
And
handshake on
here's
that.
what I think. I think Ghost Rider might make an appearance because if they go with
Ghost
the
Rider.
actual comic books Doomsday, Ghost Rider's part of that to a degree. We might see a little cameo from Ghost Rider. There's a lot we can see here. Also, did you notice the Fantastic Four were like at the beginning of the chairs, but yet Pedro Pascal was at the very end, so he plays a very prominent role in this movie. So I mean, this is basically going to be Fantastic Four 2, but with Avengers.
Ooh.
Well, Avenger adjacent anyway. But I want to throw this to
Mm-hmm.
Odin. Odin, you know, back in the day, Marvel used to have this plan, and Avengers movies were like these big event films that were like very important in the overall plan. They would spend years building up to these Avenger films. And with the rise and fall of the Kang dynasty and Jonathan Majors, they had to switch gears real quick. And Avengers Doomsday is that gear switching. And it feels like there's been very little, if no, build up to this movie at all. Like old Marvel would have done like Fantastic Four this year, and then Avengers Doomsday next year, and so on and so forth. And have like a very specific plan where people had to watch the movies in order to like, know to go into this. Why do you think Marvel has basically abandoned this strategy of like building up and establishing characters and then leading up to an event film?
Because I think that their initial plan of having not only the movies but also the shows was a complete and utter failure, and so they still had all these shows in the pipeline. They still had shows that hadn't yet been released yet, and so I think that they're kind of scrambling, trying to say, okay, what has worked so far? Well, the only thing for Marvel it seems that has worked is the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, and a big part of that is because of obviously a lot of the characters in the film, but people often do also, yes, Spider-Man, but also Spider-Man No Way Home. But again, for when I say Marvel film, I'm thinking Disney Marvel versus Sony Marvel, which again I know
Still
that
made
they're
by
like
the same people,
adjacent,
but
yeah.
Hey.
But again, I think that like we can see though, like the team up movies, the movies that have big casts, oftentimes can lead to member berries, and member berries can lead to success. So that's why I actually do think that even if the film ends up being bad, because remember, I personally think Endgame, like writing wise, was a terrible movie. I know a lot of people really enjoyed it, especially at the time, but it was a film that like the writing just wasn't very good. People enjoyed it though. It made a ton of money at the box office. It also cost a lot of money to make. The issue with this movie is that this film is going to cost so much money to make. The fact that they are already spending $80 million, for the Russo brothers for the two films that they have them for, so $40 million per film. And then all that we know about what the paycheck for Robert Downey Jr. is that it's significantly more than what they are getting. So you could potentially be seeing Robert Downey Jr. getting $50 million per film. So you could see him getting $100 million
He's also
essentially
listed as a producer, yeah.
Yeah. So we're talking about basically from that alone, from like you're already spending over $100 million, like just individual film for one actor and the directors. You're already spending over $100 million just for those two. You add on top of that all of these other actors, which obviously they're not going to have as nearly as high of a paycheck as Robert Downey Jr., but you can also imagine that they probably have people going to bat for them to get them some money. You're probably talking about at least $200+ million for all of the actors, and that's before you've actually started making the movie itself. This film is going to be insane as far as its total cost is concerned. And of course, the marketing is going to be off the charts too. And so you can see this film end up production-wise, though, costing even more than Endgame. And Endgame was successful, and I do think that this film, even just on the surface, even if it's not very good, I do think it'll still make $1 billion worldwide just because of the massive cast. The member berries are very powerful. They're very strong. We've already seen that. I've not seen a massive film of scale like this ever really fail in that capacity, in that way. So that's why I do think that it's going to happen in this capacity. Yeah,
I know how to make this movie be successful, and it's just two people. It's a Melissa McCarthy and Octavia Spencer bringing Thunder Force into Doomsday.
of course.
The
of course.
Thunder Force.
Thunder Force needs to be in this movie. It would be a $1 billion movie. Absolutely.
Yeah. So they are clearly spending
Thunder
a ton
thighs
of
ain't
money.
gonna save no lies.
Yeah. But the problem is, even if it does get to $1 billion, if it's not very good and doesn't have the repeat showings, which these films often rely on to make the $2+ billion or the even $1.5 billion, right? then that means that this film is, just again, talking about the budget here, being as big as it's going to be, that this film getting to $1 billion may not even be enough to break even, likely won't be enough to break even. Yeah. So this is not, again, they're clearly blowing their loads on this stuff, right? But the crazy thing is Caroline Reed has done a lot of really great coverage of this, but we already know how much money was spent on Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, right? Like well over $300 million was spent on that movie. And apparently, comparing the tax returns from the United Kingdom, because this is how long the production's been going on. We already have early returns on some of the stuff that they've been doing in for this new movie, Doomsday, and they're already spending at twice the rate as what they were spending on for Quantumania. So, yeah, this potentially could be catastrophic.
I personally think, because we've seen the examples, Star Wars being one of them, where they came out with absolute hot garbage, and then it didn't matter what came on after that. Like I think Solo was an example. I thought Solo was a decent project. I know it had woke crap in there, but I thought the movie was all right. But it still flopped because of the results of what happened with the sequel trilogy. And I think this is good.
Oh, it was also completely reshot too.
Yeah. Well, but I think this is going to be. I think that I'm going to argue on that. There, Odin. That I think that people are so turned off by Marvel now because of all the crap they put out. I think it doesn't matter. Yes, you're right that the member bears are going to bring people in, but I think it's still going to massively flop because people are going to say you've fooled me too many times, and I'm not going to be fooled again.
Then how did Deadpool Wolverine do as well as it did?
Fuck. All right, you got me there.
I mean, one could argue, well, it's the Fox characters technically, right? But it's still a Marvel film. It's still an MCU film. So.
The difference there, and you're not wrong.
I like how Odin was just sitting on that,
I think the difference there is that Deadpool and Wolverine kind of stood on its own, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is what I've been saying for a while now, is that if these movies don't perform, the superhero genre is dead, and the only exceptions are going to be those 5 or so characters that are always going to make money, like Batman, Spider-Man, Deadpool, Wolverine. Other than that, it's a crapshoot.
Superman.
Right? Superman has not made money consistently, unfortunately, and he's my favorite superhero.
Yeah.
And I'm rooting for the new Superman film, but I'm telling you right now, I am not going to be surprised if this thing lands somewhere right around the same as Man of Steel.
I was going to add one more thing to make matters worse for Disney and for this production. They also have it, again, this is from reporting over at Forbes from Caroline Reed, who's amazing, has been doing great coverage of all the stuff, really unpacking and exposing Disney. But it says here that even though the Russo's deal specifically doesn't have any back-end compensation, it does contain performance escalators, which kick in at $750 million and $1 billion thresholds. So even if they do get over $1 billion, if they do, that means the profits start getting eaten up by the Russos, who would get part of the profits there.